years, all as a result of our athletic director, our coaches, our staff, and most importantly, our student athletes who come to this great institution to further their education and participate in athletics. We all want to win, but what's much more important than winning is providing the leadership and role models for our student athletes. It's also extremely important that we uphold the rich traditions of this great institution. We want leaders of character and integrity who know how to win in a way that makes Longhorn Nation proud, which is the reason we are so proud to be here today to welcome Coach Schlossnagle as our new head coach of UT Baseball. His record speaks for itself, but more importantly, his character and integrity and the manner in which he runs a first-class program is second to none. We are beyond excited as he becomes UT Baseball's next head coach. Our focus will always be on our students, as it should be. And we are proud to be here today to welcome Coach to the 40 acres, as we know he will lead our student athletes and excite our fans and Longhorn Nation in a manner that will make us all proud. May God bless all of us gathered here today, and may God continue to bestow a special blessing on the great state of Texas. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I'm Jay Hartzell, president of this great university, and you're about to find out that we did not coordinate our remarks because I'm going to hit a few of the same themes that the chairman hit. This is a great day for Longhorn Nation, a great day for our university, a great day for Texas athletics, and certainly Texas baseball. Clearly, we're here to celebrate and introduce our new head coach, Coach Schlossnagle. But before we do that, I do want to take a moment and just recognize what I think is the special moment that our university is in today. We're in that moment both academically and athletically. There are many reasons the winds are such at our back, but a couple of those are on either side of me on this agenda here today. I want to take a minute and recognize my colleagues. Conte says often that United Texas is a reckoning. And it's been a reckoning. Over the last 4 years of working together, we've had 11 national championships and 3 Directors' Cups, as the chairman mentioned. And we're united. We've had some tough issues that have been facing really all of higher education, but I feel honored to work with Chairman Eltife, Regent Giles, and the rest of the Board of Regents. And we've got a great board, and we're all rowing in the same direction. Chairman Eltife sets our tone. As you heard him say today, he puts the students first and our patients first. He is also one to drive for excellence and impact. And any of you who may doubt his passion for what he does, go watch his part of the commencement celebration this last season. On the other side of me on the agenda is Conte. And I think Cedric Golden wrote today or last night that he was savage and the most powerful AD in the country. I will add, as the chairman did, he is the best AD in the country. That is something that we have known for a very long time, but it was nice to see formally recognized with an award this season. He has said he was the Susan Lucci of Athletic Director of the Year awards. We all don't know what took him so long, but it was great that the rest of the country bestowed that award on him that we all have known to be true. Part of what makes CDC so special is his ability to do what we strive to do across our entire campus. We bring together outstanding leaders, outstanding teachers, outstanding developers of talent, and then we bring into that mix very, very talented students. And then we're all here to help them. And I don't think there's a better AD at the country at attracting talented people than Conte. I asked Coach Iannello, our new women's golf coach, part of what made her come and choose to come here and leave her alma mater in Arizona. And really quickly, she got to the rest of the coaches that we've assembled here at this university. That's a credit for the entire athletic department staff, for our student athletes, and for Conte. Bringing such talented leaders of our student athletes together is really making this a special place and a special time. Coach Schlossnagle fits right into this set of extremely good coaches. And, Coach, we're just thrilled you're here. Athletics is a very important part of the University of Texas at Austin. And baseball is a very important part of Texas athletics. It has an amazing history. I would say it's arguably second to none. And it takes a special person to lead that kind of a special program. And it's clear that we have one in Coach Schlossnagle. Today is the start of a new great run for Texas baseball. Coach, we're excited for our future together. It's going to be full of student athletes who are going to reach their potential, take trips to Omaha, and win championships. With that, thanks again, Coach, for being here, and I'll hand it over to Cristo Conte.
Hi, everybody. It's an awesome day today at Texas. Before we move forward, I think when you start to look at what's happened around, I always say United Texas is a reckoning. And what I mean by that is we've all been in organizations that were not united. And when you're united from top to bottom, every major decision we make at the University of Texas, I will call the chairman, I will call my boss, President Hartzell, and we'll discuss everything that's taken place. And not a decision we make is ever made in a vacuum. And that's the decision. When you start to look at what's happening around the university, whether it be MD Anderson, whether you look at the Civitas Center, where you look at Moody, the move to the Southeastern Conference, and this great day of bringing Coach Schlossnagle to campus, was all made with a unified front. And that just speaks volumes of the institution. And that really started with the hiring our head football coach, Steve Sarkisian, when we decided this is what we're going to do and what our goals were and aspirations were. Everything is shared. And I want everyone in this room to know that it is shared thought and mind. I may have an idea, they'll call either one of them, they'll say, have you lost your mind today? I said, yes, sir, but I got something for you. And this is what I really so excited about our university, so excited for the University of Texas, our fans, our donors, is because we are united. And when we're all rowing the boat, Texas is a reckoning. And I always say that. When we're rowing the boat in the same direction, it is a reckoning. Before I introduce Coach, I just want to talk a little bit about Coach Pierce and just mention that I thank him and Susan for their service to our institution. They were great, and we mutually parted ways. And at that point in time, I sat down, I called the chairman, I called President Hartzell, and we had a discussion of what we looked at and what we were looking for. And we understood the gravitas of the University of Texas. The winning traditions of the University of Texas shall not be entrusted to the timid nor the weak. We've been to Omaha 38 times. We've won 6 national championships. Coach Bowman, I see you coming from the Olympic trials, buddy. Good work. Came right after he won a natty as well, so appreciate that, buddy. But the idea that should not be entrusted to the timid nor the weak. And what does that mean? And we started to talk about the gravitas of our baseball program, what it's built on, who we hired. And every time President Hartzell would say, who can lead this program to what we want? And I can tell you, he's a dear friend. We've known each other since 2007 when I was at Rice and he was at TCU. And for 10 years, I had a front row seat to watch the man lead a program that was in TCU that had from the ashes to 5 times to go to Omaha. Past 3 years at Texas A&M, I watched what he's done. And I sent back to the chairman, I sent to my president and said, we have a guy. We have a guy. But right now he's on a run in college baseball. And let's see if he's the guy who would like to come here. And I can tell you, I am so proud that you've chosen this opportunity, Coach Schloss, not only for the man you are, the team, the person that you built, but how you conduct your business. And I couldn't think of a better person to lead our baseball program. I'd like to introduce you to your new head baseball coach, Coach Jim Schlossnagle. Hey, I wanted to make sure we got the spelling right. Did we get the spelling right, everybody?
Yeah, that's a long
That's a long name, buddy. Come on in. Hook him up.
Okay, put your phones down now in the front row, right here, y'all. Awesome, thank you.
Coach Schlossnagle, the podium is yours. We'll ask questions after the fact.
You got it. You got it.
Hey guys, Coach will start with this opening statement, and then when we go to the Q&A, we'll make sure you wait till we get a mic to you, and then ask your question.
Yeah, good morning. What an awesome day. Super thankful and humbled by this opportunity to be the baseball coach at the University of Texas. I'm going to be really brief. I believe baseball is a job you do. It's not a job you talk about, and we have a lot of work to do. Some people I need to thank. I need to thank Coach Pierce, Coach Garrido, and Coach Gus. David Pierce has been a longtime friend of mine. I greatly respect him. Coach Garrido, in the last 5 or 6 years of his career, treated me at TCU as if I was one of his former players or coaches. He was a great mentor, We actually had a lot of conversations about this position, and I miss him dearly. I never got to meet Coach Gus, but he said some really cool things about me one time in the paper that I've always saved that article. Thank you to President Hartzell, Chairman Eltife, and of course my man CDC, for their confidence in me and our coaching staff to continue to move this baseball program forward. Probably most importantly, I want to thank Texas A&M. This wasn't obviously a move from one school to another school. This is a great rivalry, and I couldn't be more thankful and humbled by the support that I got there, that we got there from some awesome players, staff, and administration. General Mark Welsh has become a very dear friend, one of the greatest leaders I've ever been around. I had 2 athletic directors that were incredibly supportive, and I have nothing but positive memories and will always comment positively about Texas A&M. I am very confident, even though it was only 3 years, that we left that program in better shape than we found it. I want to introduce we have 3 members of our coaching staff here today: our associate head coach Nolan Kane, our assistant coach and hitting coach Michael Early, and our pitching coach Max Weiner. This had to be a team effort. When Chris and I had discussions about this, I was very clear that this had to be a team effort, because I've been on some awesome coaching staff, some winning coaching staff, some championship coaching staffs, but I've never been around a group of guys who are more tied together, synergy, knowledge of the game, work ethic, than this staff that we had at A&M has been. I'm sure the question will come up, why this move and why now? I don't take that lightly. On some hands, this was a very easy decision because of my relationship with Chris and my past history and my belief in him and his wife, Robin. But it was obviously very hard. Especially, there's a lot of decisions in life that you don't get to choose the timing. You don't get to meet with your team as you would like. And for that, I am sorry. But college athletics right now is this is the problem. Mr. Del Conte would probably agree, this is the most uncertain time of college athletics that it's ever been in, and no one knows what the future is. Never in the history of college athletics is alignment more important between administrator, president, chairman of the board, board of trustees, board of regents, whatever. And I yearn for a great leader. I need a great leader, and I study leadership, and Chris is the best leader that I've ever known. We've done this before, and although it was super, super hard and emotional to make this decision because of my love for the players at Texas A&M, I simply could not pass up this opportunity. OB, I'm glad you're here. I was asked a question after our game the other night. We're playing for the national championship. And as I said in my press conference when I took the A&M job, there would never be a time that I wasn't invested in that program. And there never was a time I wasn't invested. I gave when I say our staff, we gave everything we possibly could to win that last ball game. And when the game ended, I want to publicly apologize to Richard Zane from TexAgs. He's a young reporter. He asked the question. That was an obvious question. I wish I could have answered that better. But in the moment, 30 minutes after the last pitch, all I could think about was our players. And I really wasn't in the mood to talk about myself or the future. So I apologize for that to Richard. Moving forward, I'm a big culture guy. I believe that the way you do anything is how you do everything. And our culture at the University of Texas in the baseball program will simply be this. Number 1, toughness. The toughness to embrace success and see failure as an opportunity. energy. We're going to give elite effort. Excellence means the best version of yourself. My job is to help everybody within the program become the best version of themselves, especially the players. I want to be held accountable. We're going to be about accountability. I'm going to challenge our players to do what they say they're going to do. Do what they say they're committed to do. And the last thing is to be selfless. I think the greatest quality somebody can have is humility, because you can't learn what you think you already know. That's the only way you can be coached. That'll be our culture. That'll be our core values. Those aren't words on a wall. That's not stuff we're going to put on a T-shirt and talk about it in the first meeting. That is how we will live. That is how I want to be held accountable, and that's how I will hold everybody else accountable. To the former players at the University of Texas, this is your program. The program belongs to you. You are always welcome. Many I've known from across the field during my time at TCU and Texas A&M. Cody Clemens, killing me. I've only missed a baseball game 2 times in my life for my children, my son Jackson and my daughter Katie. Just a quick story. And so one of the games I missed was my son's graduation, TCU at Texas. I have the game on my phone, trying to be quiet. We're up a run in the 9th. Augie Milbauer's pitching, and Cody hits a walk-off homer. That was a tough day. But the program belongs to the former players. And to the current and future players, the program belongs to you as well. My job is to steward this program. One thing Augie said to me one day is, if you decide to ever come to Texas, this will never be your program. And I've never felt that TCU, UNLV, Texas A&M was ever my program. My program's Elon. It's in North Carolina. And that's my school. My job is to steward this program and oversee this program and continue to grow this program to a championship level on a daily basis. So to the current players and the future players, that's what we'll be doing. From a recruiting standpoint, I believe, and I have always believed, that players make decisions based in 3 areas: academics, player development, and team success. Where can I get the best degree? How can, especially in baseball, who and how are you going to develop me to become a major league player? And 3, want to win in Omaha. Want to be the last team standing. Texas is and will always be elite in all 3 of those areas. Beginning now, we have to prepare to compete in the major leagues of college baseball. If you've never been in SEC baseball, get ready. It is as fun and competitive as you can possibly be. I know it's the same in football with Coach Sark and all the other sports, but there will now be 16 baseball programs in the SEC that are committed at the absolute highest level, and we will be ready for that. Lastly, to the Longhorn fans, we need you. Please know that this is not a job for me. This is a lifestyle. I don't play golf. I don't hunt or go fish every now and then when you get a free day, but I don't have many hobbies. My hobbies are to be around our players and to help them get better. And our job is to fill Dish Falk. We need it to become one of the elite atmospheres in the SEC, not just on the SEC weekends, but every single night. So thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to be here. Super excited to get to work. Hook 'em.
Danny Davis with the Austin American Statesman. Jim, as you assess this program, where's this program at, and what does this team need to do to contend for championships?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we got to see the team, the current or past year's roster up close and personal in the regional. Obviously, some really good players on the team, some really good young players on the team, and some guys that have some decisions to make in the draft. And so our first order of business, once we get through lunch or this afternoon, I want to be in contact with all of those guys, make sure they feel good about our staff, let them know that we want them here and we can build a great program around them. But I will tell you, many SEC coaches gave me some advice before I joined Texas A&M and the SEC. And the piece of advice has rung very true. There is a top 2% of player, like the major leagues, that is better than everybody else, whether it be your Paul Skeens or at A&M we got lucky we had Braden Montgomery and Jace Lavalette and Gavin Grahovic, guys that are just superior players. But for the most part, you really don't have better players than the other team. You have to have as good of players as the other team. And in the transfer portal era, everybody is big, strong, physical, and older. And everybody has it. So it comes down to staying healthy, playing good, sound, fundamental baseball, and getting the breaks. But I think there's enough time. We have a lot of work to do in a short amount of time, but there's enough time for us to get to not just the returning players, but incoming players in the portal, as well as the high school players that are committed here. We want to connect with them very fast.
Brent Zwerneman, Houston Chronicle. When did Chris first approach you about the job, and when did you start seriously considering it? And also, to your point, how tough is it to kind of not let your players know as well?
Yeah. Let me address that last one first. Like I'm a pretty transparent guy. Like it's miserable. It's miserable. The same thing happened at TCU. I was able to call all of those players. I'm still in the process of calling the ones that I'm allowed to call. If a guy has exhausted his eligibility, I can do that. But there will be some players that I don't get to call. That's why my first year at A&M, we played TCU in the regional, and when I saw those kids on the field, that was the first time I had gotten a chance to communicate with them. The rules don't allow me to text them happy birthday, or if something bad happened in their life, like I'm not allowed to talk to them. And so I tried to preview what could happen when we got back, with a few guys before the decision was made, just to give them a little bit of a heads up that I did have a decision to make. Chris and I have been lifelong friends. We talk all the time, but Texas had a baseball coach. And I think once, you'd have to ask him, but once they made that decision, then at the end of our game the other night, then we had some serious conversation. I touched base with my staff, let them know this was a possibility. And then he came over to visit with me yesterday, and we made the decision. Thanks.
Chip Brown, Horns 24/7. Coach, can you talk a little bit more about the importance of alignment right now in the culture of this college athletics landscape, and also that conversation with Augie, what that meant and kind of in terms of wheels turning?
Yeah, so Augie, let me address the first one first. Augie, I can't remember the year, 15 or 16 maybe. We played in Fort Worth, and the game ended, and I had always wanted to be close to Augie and learn more about him, but I didn't play for him or work for him. And he pulled me to the side during a rain delay and said, "I want you to come see me this summer." And so during the recruiting season, I was in California. I flew to Orange County Airport. Augie picked me up. We had a great dinner, as he loved great food and drink. And we had a long conversation about his future and what it was like to be the baseball coach at Texas. And I'll never say that there was any place that's ever been my dream job. I've loved every single place that I've ever been. As an assistant coach, to be real frank with you, my dream job was to be the coach at TCU, because that was the program that I felt like needed or had the most space to grow. I'm from Western Maryland. I never envisioned that I would get to be the coach at Texas A&M or the University of Texas. I only ever saw those things on TV. What was your first question again? The alignment. Yeah, the alignment is just so important because there's so much uncertainty. And when you have someone like Chris, who is at the forefront in the meetings with the decisions, that will listen to a coach. He is a coach's athletic director. He has always said that to me. His job is to serve coaches and student athletes. My job is to serve the student athletes. And Chris has always told me his job is to give the coaches every opportunity to be successful. And so I run to that. And I'm not telling you that we didn't have that at Texas A&M. I just felt very, very good about the narrowness, I guess you would call it, the just short, straight, direct lines between the president, the chairman, and Chris. And that is comforting to a coach, especially at such a big place like the University of Texas.
Yeah, Coach Schlossnagle, Olin Buchanan, TexAgs.com.
Welcome.
Thank you. Coach, on Monday night, you said that you went to Texas A&M with the idea of it being a last job, and then you said that your mind hadn't changed beyond that. So, number one, what changed? And then number two, what would you say to those Texas A&M people that supported you that feels like that you intentionally misled them?
Well, I didn't intentionally mislead them. And that's a very fair question for you to ask because that is what I said. In that moment, that's exactly how I felt. At 50 years old, you got to understand, and Chris would probably back me up on this, I love TCU. My children grew up there, Fort Worth. I was there 18 years, and it had to be a very unique situation for me to leave that at 50 years old. I love Coach Garrido, but I hope I get to coach here for a long time, but I don't really have any plans on coaching to 75, 78 years old. So I made that choice because it aligned both personally and professionally with what I had going on at the time. And I loved it. And I dove in with every single ounce of me to help A&M have the very best baseball program it can possibly have. And that investment lasted through the last pitch of the national championship game. It never wavered, not 1 second. I don't care what anybody says. As Chris likes to say, we have jobs and try to run a business on other people's passion. And if I had left Texas A&M for some other school in a different part of the country, the interesting text messages and messages that I got yesterday probably wouldn't have happened. But I get it. You can't ask for your fan base to support you and be passionate like the 12th man always has been, but really was this year. Our crowds were awesome. Awesome. Every single game. And so you can't ask for that like I did and our staff did and then expect everybody to be okay with a coach leaving for its rival school. And I get it. And I get it. All I can say is I have a career too. I have a personal life as well. That I have goals, and I just simply felt like no negative at A&M, just the positives of the alignment and, frankly, my relationship with Chris. That I knew there wasn't anybody at Texas A&M that I couldn't trust. I just know that I can trust Chris. I just know that. And as hard as that decision was, I could not walk away from it.
Stay on the right, Cedric.
Hey, Jim. The NIL has changed the game of recruiting in all sports. How much did that figure into your decision with Texas's reach and its prestigious reputation as far as getting the people they want?
Yeah, I mean, NIL is certainly a part of us right now at the absolute highest level. What that looks like beyond the future and revenue sharing and all those things. That's why Mr. Del Conte is here to answer those questions and figure that stuff out. Texas A&M was fully committed in that area. I know the University of Texas will be fully committed in that area. But I don't know about the other sports, but when I talked about the three things that kids make their choice on, they actually still make them on that in our sport. The NIL stuff kind of puts you in the game, I guess, but there's a lot of people in the game. And once you get in the game, then it actually does, in baseball, boils down to academics, player development, and team success. And Nolan and Max and Mike and I have been on Zoom calls during the College World Series 2 years ago where the player only wanted to talk about NIL. And we will not be recruiting those players. we want we get it. We get what the game is today, but we want players. We want winning players that are winning people that are going to represent this university at the absolute highest level, so we can win championships. And I think it's creating a team. You can still do that if you have standards and core values and you stick to them. You can still do that in this era.
Hi, Jim. Tyler Feldman, KVU Sports. Welcome to Austin. My question for you is, based on what you said about how important your friendship and relationship is with CDC, is there a memory you can share back maybe during your days at TCU that springboarded this long-term friendship?
Let me talk about our first memory that didn't involve, involved TCU. But so in 2007, we're playing in a regional at Reckling Park, and the Horned Frogs were pretty good. We had a really good team. We had a couple major league pitchers on that team, a guy that won a Cy Young Award by the name of Jake Arrieta and a relief pitcher by the name of Sam Demmel. And we had to use them both in the first game to beat Baylor, and Rice had a great team. And the next day, it rained and rained and rained and rained. There's water standing 4 feet in our dugout, 3 feet in the outfield. And I'm like, we're not playing this game. There's no way we're playing this game. I also didn't want to play the game because Sam Demmel had thrown 2+ innings in the game, and I needed to have him have a day rest. So we're standing in the outfield with our athletic director at the time, I believe it was Danny Morrison, and the NCAA rep, and here comes this guy in flip-flops and a Tommy Bahama shirt, wading his way through the water, and he's like, oh, we're playing this game. I was like, who's this guy? And the NCAA rep tried to make a decision, but Coach Graham had his thumb on Mr. Del Conte, and we played the game that night. It was a close game. We lost. But that was my first interaction, and then the very next time we had an interaction is I was the coach representative on the search committee for the athletic director job at TCU. And when he walked in the room, he said, I sure hope you won't hold that rain delay game against me. And that was it. That's the only story I think we can probably talk about.
How's it going, Coach? Texas A&M rivalry didn't need any more heat or spice. What do you anticipate when you go back to College Station, given the dynamics?
Yeah, it'll be an experience for sure. It's already awesome. The midweek games we got to play this year, awesome. The regional, phenomenal. I can't even imagine what a 3-game SEC series will be like. The first one is here, I believe next year. The second one is at Olsen Field. And so I'm sure A&M is going to attract awesome coaches. There's great players there. And the fan base, especially Section 203, I'm sure they'll have a lot of really interesting things planned. But I didn't do this to spite anybody. And I did this for the reasons I've talked about. And, when you go into an SEC environment, it's already crazy. I'm sure that won't be as crazy. And it's just further evidence that we'll have to be prepared, not physically, but mentally to be able to handle that. My job as the coach is to help our players handle that. And all it does is prepare us for a national championship in Omaha.
Coach Bob Ballou, CBS Austin Sports. Welcome to Austin.
Thank you.
How much of a distraction do you believe Monday was to your team? And there are certain former players of yours now that are saying things on social media that everybody will see, the Texas players will see. How do you talk to them about what they're seeing?
Yeah, I can't control that. Like I said earlier, due to the sensitive nature of everything that was going on, I don't think Coach Elko got to sit down with his Duke team before he left. I wish I could have gotten to sit down with the entire team. What was the first part again? I don't know. I don't believe that money was a distraction at all. Our players were locked in. They don't think about stuff like that. I think college baseball players towards the end of every season, it doesn't matter if you're in Omaha or not, the guys who aren't playing much have transfer portal on their mind or someone's in their ear about it. The guys who are draft eligible are thinking about the draft. There's an agent in their mind. coaching stuff, I truly believe, I know our players were able to separate that. Our routine never wavered. I wasn't on the phone with Chris, before the game. Right? I mean, there was nothing. I want to win a national championship. I've been there 8 times, 7 as a head coach, and here we are one game, the second game we were 7 outs away. And I wanted that personally too, and I really wanted it for Texas A&M because I believe in the 12th man. And I did want to be a part of the first national championship team there. So they may say different, but I think if you were to ask our coaches, not one player on our team, once we got on the field, was focused on anything other than winning. Yeah, I mean, I get to meet them. I think I would challenge them to don't listen to what I say. Judge me by my actions over the course of time. And anybody can say one thing and do another, but I'll sit down with them, create a relationship. That's not going to happen in a day. It's not going to happen in one phone call. But I do feel like not just me, but our staff has a proven track record of doing things the right way. Many people, especially on the A&M side, will say this wasn't done the right way. I just don't know any other way it could have been done. There's, not like we could sit around and wait for a week. That wouldn't have been fair to Texas A&M, and that wouldn't have been fair to the University of Texas. So it is what it is in today's college sports. But I love those players. They'll get emotional, and that's okay. That's okay. It's okay for them to express their emotion.
Hey, Jim, Alex Miller with the Eagle. I just wanted to go back to the timeline. So did you have any discussions with anyone at Texas during the season or the postseason run to the World Series finals?
No. Chris and I talk all the time. But we had no, he had a coach. There was no bare bones discussion of this. I mean, this is always, when I was at TCU, these rumors have always been around because of our relationship. And I can't control that. If you ask our coaches, they have had to deal with it since the day I got to Texas A&M. I mean, I have had a specific buyout specifically for the University of Texas, and that's because of my relationship with Chris. And so, thankfully, it's really not a question we'll ever have to answer again.
Two last ones. Go on the right, Joe. Joe Cook with Inside Texas. How important is it for you to have brought your entire staff with you from College Station to Austin and help you with that program building process?
Yeah, other than working for Chris, it was the most important part. We are a united front as a staff, and I hope to bring potentially a few more guys, but there was just no way I was going to. I have plenty of energy, but I did not want to go through that process, and we don't have time to go through that process. We need players. We need to keep the returning players and hold some guys in the draft. And we have to get, this afternoon, we got to get on the phone and rebuild this roster because the SEC is looming. And so I needed my guys with me.
Last one, Corey.
Corey Mose, KVU Sports. Welcome to Austin.
Thank you.
Just wanted to ask you something you mentioned earlier, how you made a decision for your career as well. And so, in your opinion, what makes this the right time, and what makes you the right person for this job here at Texas?
The right time was simply, well, one, the job was open. 2, Chris is here. He has a length of contract that we hope to hold him to for a very long time. And it's just really just simply that, is that, again, no negative at A&M, different structure there, with a lot of different entities, which are all great. But it was just where I was personally in my relationship with Chris that I could not walk away from this. Again, I hope to coach for several more years, but I'm not coaching forever. And this was just an opportunity that I couldn't walk away from.